I'm Frankie B. Kid. Everyone calls me FBK. I'm an author and a community activist. This is my Press Freedom Pen America project. So thanks to Pen America, I was able to host a 4-week literary activism series, and this was thanks to resources from the Press Freedom Fund. Essentially, the Press Freedom Fund it gives you resources that enables the community to stand up for the press and also to stand up and let your voice be heard and to make a difference. So the 4-week literary activism series that I hosted, I brought in a bunch of people. I brought in some creatives, some attorneys. We just had we had a lot of people. And the first workshop, we called it Rightivism. And so what is Rightivism? It's just saying writing and activism. So we highlighted the work of past authors and current authors whose work has been used as a form of activism. I brought in a book by Michelle Alexander, her book, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Color Blindness. I brought in the book by, and I'm probably going to mess up his name, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and his book is titled Between the World and Me. I don't even think you can talk about writers and activism without mentioning James Baldwin. And so we discussed his work. We had that workshop at the Avondale Library. We had a diverse group. We even had a teenager. I believe her grandmother brought her. And at first I wasn't going to have any of the workshops where anyone could be in a workshop that was under 18 because, with these topics we get, it gets deep in the room. But she was fine. She was intelligent and she even participated in the workshop. The next workshop we had was writing and self-publishing, how to write and self-publish a book. A very powerful way to share your story and to let your voice be heard is to write a book. And so we had writers come in, myself included. I am an independent author, and we shared the steps that you take to not only write, but how to self-publish a book if that's the route you want to go. The next workshop we had was blogging and podcasts. Blogging and podcasts is another great way to stand up and let your voice be heard. We had podcast equipment. We brought in microphones, we set it up. We had the workshop participants. Everybody jumped on a mic. We actually did a podcast in that workshop. We had bloggers come in. I used to have a blog, and we had bloggers come in and we shared the process of creating a blog and how a blog is like a news, could be like a news website, and how a blog is a great way to let your voice be heard and to share your story. The fourth workshop we had, although it was actually the third workshop, but never mind that. The fourth workshop we had was, and this was a very powerful workshop. It was the media and the community. And so again, the Press Freedom Grant is to empower the community to stand up for the media. But sometimes what you hear in marginalized communities is, why does so many news stories get done about people of color or people of modest means? Why are there so much negative news coverage? So what we wanted to do during that workshop was bring people in from the media, bring people in from the community, and have a community conversation. What was awesome about that workshop is that we had attorney David Singleton. David is from the Ohio Justice and Policy Center. He also teaches at NKU, and so he has experience in, helping the community understand how the media and the community can have a better relationship. He had Murray come from his staff. He came and he had Murray come from his staff, and they gave a presentation on how to foster like that better relationship. We also had Kyle come, and he ended up being on the panel. Kyle is from Pen America, and he ended up filling in for someone who was unable to attend the workshop. So it was a really good 4-week literary activism series. I couldn't have done it without the help of the community, who I call the community stakeholders. I couldn't have done it without the creatives, the writers, without the attorneys, without everybody that just came in and participated in the workshop. So I want to say thank you, community. Thank you, Pen America.